Something about the middle of a year feels like a fresh start to me. What about you? Maybe you're no longer feeling aligned with the goals that you set in the beginning of the year, or maybe you've decided to take a completely different track. Whether you're feeling ahead or behind, or like you're doing something completely different, a mid year review can help you get back on track and really make the best of the year ahead. Hey, I'm Britt from Thriving Scribes, where I help indie authors build sustainable author business. So, if you are a fiction author looking to make a living from self publishing your own books, definitely hit that like and subscribe button because I release videos for authors just like this every single week. So, if you're feeling like you've gotten a little off track with the goals that you set in January, then don't worry because in this video, I'm going to walk you through the methods that I teach authors to have a mid year review and turn things around for good. The first thing that you're going to want to do is review your progress. So this is going to help you more than you ever thought it could because asking yourself some really important questions about what you've been up to in the past few months is really going to help you make the best decisions going forward. So, some questions that you can ask yourself as you look back on the things that you were doing, the things that you accomplished and didn't accomplish, are these few questions. First, what worked? What brought you results? What are the things that really feel like they worked out in your favor? You enjoyed doing them and it led you towards making progress. The second thing to ask yourself is what didn't work? Was there something that felt aligned? Was there something that you fell behind on? Did you have a hard time figuring something out? What were those things that just are not working for you? During this review period, I also recommend that you go back and look at all of your important numbers. There really is magic in the data. And so if you can go back and look at the different key pieces when it comes to tracking your growth in authorship, that alone will allow you to really make some reveals around what it is that you've been doing and what you might need to tweak going forward. So you can look at things like your book sales or your subscriber growth for your email list or how many visitors came to your website. The data and the numbers that you are going to individually want to track are going to be pretty unique to what your current goals are and really what your focus is in authorship. If you are not currently actively trying to grow your email list, then email list growth may not be the numbers that you want to be focusing on the most when it comes to tracking. Another example is if you use Kindle Unlimited, then you can track page reads versus book sales, or you could track both. And now that you have that data, you can use it to begin to answer a few important questions about what the past few months had in store for you and why. So things like where did the majority of your book sales come from? Right? What are your current best sellers when it comes to books? Maybe you're asking yourself where the most traffic came from when it comes to your author website. Or maybe you're just looking at which social media platform you've been using has been the most effective in helping you achieve your goals. The next step is to realign. And by this, I mean realign with your goals. So, in this step, you're going to want to look back to all of the goals that you set in January. So, if you have access to your planner or your project management tool or whatever you used to set your goals last time, it's time to pull that out and begin to reassess. As you are looking back on the goals that you set previously, you're going to want to ask yourself a few important questions. The first one here is, did you achieve that goal? And the second one is, why or why not? Now, of course, this process may be longer or shorter depending on how many goals you actually set for yourself in the beginning of the year. When I am teaching authors how to set their goals in the beginning of the year, I always recommend that we set 5 or less. That way, we can be laser focused, right? And less scattered and all over the place during our year. So, if you have between 1 and 5, this process shouldn't take too long. However, if you are somebody who at the beginning of the year did this whole bucket list of things that they were trying to do, then it may take you a little bit longer. That alone can be a takeaway for you because when you're setting too many goals, you're not as focused and you are spreading yourself too thin in so many different areas. And so maybe your main takeaway here is that you set too many goals to actually track. You have too many priorities. Step 4 here is to remove the blocks. That is anything that held you back or that wasn't a right fit. Now, it's important to note here that sometimes your blocks are going to be external things, like I just mentioned, right? Actual things that are getting in your way, things that popped up in your life, those external things that may have kept you from achieving a certain goal or changed your focus to something else. However, these blocks may also be interior. I call these mindset gremlins. So I'm not going to go deep dive into them to right now, but many of these mindset gremlins might be you are experiencing some sort of fear. Maybe it's some sort of limiting belief that's holding you back. Maybe it's simply burnout or overwhelm. Identifying what your individual blocks are and creating an action plan to overcome them or counteract them is going to be so important when it comes to planning the next 6 months because we don't want to run into the same problems that we did before. So, identifying what they are will allow you to create that action plan and make changes going forward. It also highlights whatever it is that you may need to be working on, whether you do need to do some fear journaling around something or whether you do need to just strip down to the bare minimums because you are so overwhelmed with what you've got going on in your business and in your life at the time. And the final step here is to refresh your plan. Now that you have done all of that hard work on looking back, it's time to pull that planner back out and start making goals for the next 6 months. So ask yourself, by the end of this year, what do you want your author business to look like? Okay. Then from there, you can start to create different goals that are going to actually help you get there. If you need a little bit more guidance and you're not sure how to set the best goals for yourself, how to break down goals into projects, into action steps, then definitely go and watch the video that I released last week that will walk you through my signature Power of Three method for creating goals as an author that are the right fit for you in this moment and break them down into manageable pieces. Once you've done that process and you've broken all of your goals down, then it's time to head to that planner and plan it out. Start plugging in those action steps, those due dates, and everything else that you've mapped out for yourself for the next 6 months. If you don't have a planner yet that's specifically created for fiction authors, then definitely go and check out the Thriving Scribes planner, which you see right here. I'll link it down below, which is the planner that I have created specifically for indie authors pursuing authorship as a career. And finally, if you don't want to do this process alone, I'm actually holding a live round of my program, the Epic Annual Success Plan, with a mid year twist. I'm calling it the Mid Year Refresh Retreat, which is going to guide authors strategically through all 5 of these steps that I talked about in order to complete your own mid year refresh retreat. If you want to join us in that live round, head to thrivingscribes.com/refresh, where you can get $100 off on the full program, where you get access to the Epic Annual Success Plan and the Mid-Year Refresh Retreat. Plus, you'll be able to join us for that live round, which is going to happen from June 20th to July 1st. Live rounds include accountability, one-on-one coaching from me, as well as a secret workshop that you'll get an invite to help you actually take action, break down those goals, and create your action plan for the rest of the year. Now, if you watch this video all the way through and one of the most reoccurring themes that are coming up for you are that you really need to learn how to have more focus on the goals that you set, then definitely go and watch the video that you see up on your screen right now, where I'm going to walk you through how to maximize your productivity and your focus as an author to actually get your goals achieved. I'll see you there.